California is an economic juggernaut, a state with a progressive supermajority and leadership that loudly champions ambitious solutions to massive social crises. This chart shows a strange divergence. As the state's top-line GDP climbs, domestic population metrics are declining. Despite its immense wealth, California holds the nation's highest real poverty rate, and it lost 1.3 million residents to other states in just 5 years. Many observers see this as a story of simple incompetence, a vast bureaucracy that is too overburdened and inefficient to execute its own agenda. But political economists are increasingly looking at a different possibility. They're examining whether these outcomes are the result of a specific economic structure known as institutional capture. Under this theory, the state's governmental machinery has become an engine for the professional managerial class, the credentialed upper middle tier of specialists who manage the regulatory state and may benefit from the very crises they are paid to oversee. Look at Proposition 37. It's a $25 billion state program marketed as a lifeline to help middle-class families afford newly built starter homes. The program is built on extreme leverage. A buyer puts down 3%, and the state provides an active 17% second mortgage. This creates a combined 97% loan-to-value ratio. Because it requires monthly payments, a buyer is instantly underwater if the local market softens by just 4%. This setup allows developers to maintain peak pricing. Rather than reducing the permitting fees or red tape that drive up construction costs, the state simply manufactures the high-leverage debt necessary for buyers to pay top dollar. There is a secondary benefit for existing property owners. By using state debt to clear new inventory at $1 million or more, local jurisdictions ensure that property tax assessments stay at peak levels, protecting the tax base for decades. Injecting subsidized debt into a market with severe supply constraints transfers the long-term balance sheet risk to young workers while shielding the equity of the state's asset-holding elite. This pattern of protecting administrative interests helps explain why a state with total democratic control consistently defeats universal single-payer healthcare. A true single-payer system would mandate standardized fee schedules and global hospital budgets. This would likely dismantle the massive administrative and management ecosystem that provides high-salary careers for the state's professional class. The homelessness crisis reflects a similar dynamic. California appropriated $24 billion for homelessness over 5 years, yet the unhoused population expanded by 20% in that same window. A 2024 state audit revealed a significant lack of accountability. It found that the state stopped tracking program outcomes and performance metrics back in 2021, effectively creating a data desert. When a policy failure is met with permanent, unmeasured funding, the bureaucracy managing the crisis has a direct economic incentive to maintain the status quo. To understand how this political establishment maintains power despite losing 1.3 million citizen taxpayers, we have to look at the state's demographic shifts. California's economy is structurally dependent on a population of roughly 2 million unauthorized immigrants. This workforce provides the labor that helps offset high living costs for the state's upper-middle-class residents. This population also impacts the state's federal power. Because census apportionment counts total persons rather than citizens, these residents directly multiply California's representation in the House. This gifts the state up to 11 additional congressional seats and billions in federal block grants, shifting influence away from states with high citizen populations in the Midwest. This creates a shield of federal influence. The credentialed class can maintain its hold on power by leveraging a non-voting labor pool that inflates the state's political weight without ever being able to cast a single ballot against its leaders. These factors have created a dual economy, a managerial elite directing state policy, supported by an underclass of non-voting labor. In political theory, when people lose their voice in a system, they turn to exit. For the median Californian, that means physical relocation. As middle-income families and tradespeople leave, they take their dissenting votes with them. This process purges the electorate of the very people who would naturally demand fiscal restraint and educational accountability. California has become the ultimate model of institutional capture. It demonstrates that when a government socializes debt while protecting administrative cartels, the result isn't a lower cost of living. It is a permanent subsidy for the ruling class.